Hi everyone, Marisa Stone here from Simon Says Social and the Systems Lounge, and I want to welcome you today to the 2018 Premier International Women's Business Systems Virtual Summit, where you get to learn all about the systems that our speakers are using to get things done. And I am super excited to have Denisha Hilton here today. She is going to talk with us all about strategic planning inside your business using your period. Now, that's a very interesting statement to make, but let me tell you what. She's got some really good nuggets of information that I am super excited to share with you today. Let me tell you a little bit about Denisha. Denisha is a period and fertility strategist, which I found very interesting, also known as Dr. D. She helps women have regular pain-free periods. How many of us want those? And optimized fertility by actually learning how to use our period as an indicator of our overall health and well-being, which I find absolutely fascinating. There are so many ways in which we can learn about our bodies, and here's another one. Dr. D actually guides her clients, and she offers these really cool strategies using this holistic approach of nourishing their bodies through herbal therapies, nutritions, lifestyle changes, things like that. And often women will come to her with really painful periods or fibroids or PCOS or fertility challenges, endometriosis, and more. But Dr. D has yet to find a problem she cannot tackle. She is an expert at creating better period experiences, as she calls them, naturally, because she herself was able to stop missing school and work due to painful cramping by incorporating some of these lifestyle changes, acupuncture, herbal therapies, and nutrition into her own daily life so that she drastically changed her monthly cycle for the better. Dr. Denisha Hilton is a doctor of Oriental Medicine and NCCAOM board certified diplomat of Oriental Medicine. I thought I was going to mess that up. I did good. Certified in Oriental Reproductive Medicine, AVORM, and she runs a thriving practice in Temple Terrace, Florida. Denisha, I'm so excited to have you here. Welcome to the summit.
Hi, thank you so much. That welcome was awesome. I appreciate it.
So let's just begin at the beginning. What are we talking about when we're talking about strategically planning our business using our period? Like, I try to keep those things separate. Am I like totally off base here?
So, I mean, just as what you said, I try to keep those separate, right? But then also in that same statement, you said, I'm just trying to run my business.
Yeah.
So you see that it takes you to run your business, right?
That is true.
So
I am the one that's doing it.
Right. So you can't really separate them.
Yeah.
So that's where it's that, like, bring yourself back home and then realize you have to operate your business. So then why not take care of yourself and really pay attention to yourself to be able to sustain running your business? So it's from learning about the cycle and like what is happening during this cycle that can help you realize, okay, this is what's happening. It's affecting me in this way when I show up at the office, or if you're at home and then you're doing your own thing there.
Right.
But it's really like calling in and going self-aware. What do I need to take care of myself? Because if you're running on half empty, right? Now I'm a half full person, but really if you are half empty because you just used a lot, right?
Right.
Then how are you going to do anything for your clients, for your business, for family, for anyone? You're at the hub, you're the center of it.
Right.
So
and
you
that
gotta
makes
fill
total sense. And I love the way you say, you're a half full person, because that's the way I am as well. But it is very difficult around that time of the month when I'm grumpy and I'm bloated and I'm this and I'm that. And I'm just like, can this please just stop,
Right.
So that totally makes sense. So why is this something that entrepreneurs should be concerned about? I mean, I guess we've sort of talked about this a little bit, right? If you're a one-woman show, it kind of falls squarely on your shoulders.
Yes.
Let's talk about how this really impacts entrepreneurship.
I mean, it impacts you in so many ways. And one of them you already noticed, which was like, I'm feeling crampy and I just want to sit, right? Yeah. I just want to be by myself. But see, one of the things is that you, like most other people, including myself, only think about the cycle of that right before the period starts
Right.
to the active bleeding part.
Yeah.
But I want you to start to see it as it's the whole month. It's from day one all the way through to day one of the next one.
Right.
Because during that whole time, there's so much magic that's happening. That is where it's like, ooh, let me pay attention to that, right? And then because it's going up and down. And so then, therefore, as an entrepreneur, I think that's a gift in and of itself, because now you have the power to schedule however you want to schedule.
That's
right?
true.
And so now if you can say, let me map out and see what's happening with my cycle. Now I'm going to plot and plan this here. I'm going to put my clients discovery calls more here. I'm going to put my actual fulfillments here. And so then you kind of map that out along the month, because those ebbs and flows are going to happen. So like the frustration that comes is because we're trying to work against it. Right?
Yes.
We're working against it. And then like, here's a kicker. And I was just listening to something earlier today too. And I was like, you know what? This is probably why so many women entrepreneurs have issues, because we're listening to a lot of the male dominated productivity masters and experts, right? And so what's happening is we're burning ourselves out from listening to these males, where their natural masculine energy is action, go, 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 right? Whereas we need to honor that we are females, and we have the same power, we just exhibit it in a different way.
Right.
So it's not a weakness, it's actually like it's a strength to know. And we have this gift of the cycle to know, like, when are these ups and downs? And now I can plan accordingly, because you know what that means? We're not going to be like them, having to feel like I got to go, 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 do all the time. And I look at them and I'm like, man, their face looks like they're so tired. And so like, because that's just their mindset. So like, now that we become aware, what can we do? And so when you do start to plot and plan, you actually feel more empowered, because you're listening to yourself. It's not a weakness. It's just telling you like, no, this time we're going to slow down a little bit, and we're going to slow down a little bit because we know it's going to pick up later. Not that it has to be that same every day. Our bodies are not the same every day.
Right.
Everything fluctuates. So why do we expect to be operating the same every day?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Let's just let that one sit there for a minute, ladies. Why do we expect that we are just going to do the same thing every single day? So let's talk for a moment about hormones. And I assume everybody's different with regard to our hormones, and these fluctuate throughout the course of our monthly cycle. How and why? Because one of the things you tell your clients is that those are really your friends. How and why are these my friends?
They are your friends.
Sometimes I just want to throw them out the door.
And you do have friends you want to do that too, right?
That is
like,
good point.
Yeah, it's because that's the friend that's going to tell you, hello, something's off.
Yeah.
And they're just telling you, like, it's either going to be something is off, and then you need to pay attention to me because you're not doing it. So I'm going to make you pay attention.
Yep.
Right. So it's out of a space of love. And it's that if there's such a huge, vast difference, and then that's when you get the ones who are so irritable right before their cycle's about to start, or they might be really, really bloated. They don't want clothes touching them. They don't want it. They just want to be by themselves and everything else. Right. I mean, that actually, if it's that extreme, and it's, if it's a lot like that, then there's some nourishing that needs to happen. Those hormones you're feeling that shift so much because you're just not nourished. And so then I wonder, like, what have you been eating? What other supplements do you might need to add for right now? Have you been sleeping? So like, even literally, like, going 3 days, and just 3 to 4 days is what the study showed, of going on 4 hours of sleep, because that's another thing. Even if you're a one woman like show, right? You're like, no, I can do this. I'm going to do this. I have to get this out, right? 4 days is all it takes. And what people don't realize is that sleep, only 4 hours of sleep for 4 days, will shift the gut microbiome. And in which case, a lot of people don't realize this, but some of the hormone production, a lot of our hormone production actually comes from our gut. So during a certain number of hours of sleep, certain ones are activated after 4 hours. So it might be like hour 5, then we're going to have this one shut on. And then now that one's affecting our appetite suppressing and appetite activating hormones. And then this one's going to add into our emotional hormones. And it's all coming back, but that all was because of sleep.
Right.
So if we're like, what it's so extraordinary, why am I PMSing this bad? Start thinking, how much sleep did you get? Yeah. And then how many hours? Was it a good deep quality sleep? If you're having issues sleeping, then that's another thing. So it's like, it's really your friend. That's why I say it's your friend, because it's forcing you to see where you're not taking care of yourself. It's trying to call your attention before it becomes something major.
Yeah.
Right.
And that totally makes sense. And when you flip it like that, it really is an opportunity for me to really stop for a moment and say, okay, what's going on with me? Because if I don't take care of things, nobody else is going to. So if I'm not taking care of myself, I mean, I can quickly see how that can, spin me out of control, and I won't get things done inside my business that I want to.
Right. And I mean, like we said, if your business isn't going the way your business is going to come off of you. It's running off of your energy. Right. So if you aren't fulfilled in that regard, then how can you start to pour out of it into all of what you're doing?
Exactly. That makes sense. Okay. But I hear about all these herbs and supplements and all this stuff that I can take to make my period easier and make it better and stop the pain. Can't I just take a supplement and get on with my life?
No.
No. How did I know you were going to tell me this?
No. And you know what? And I want to say it's because, when people have that, and especially women, they're like, I just want to take this and get it over with.
Yeah.
What that means to me is that a few things, like one being, what are you afraid of to listen to yourself? Mm-hmm. And what is it that you're rushing to get past?
Yeah.
And so, like, yes, the herbs and the supplements are going to help, but then the next thing is when they're just looking for that quick fix, it's like you're turning to a holistic thing or holistic process, and then but you're coming at it with this conventional mindset still of take a pill and then it'll go away.
Right.
But they're not the same. So it's holistic, because it's all parts of you. It's mind, body, and spirit. If I affect one, I'm going to affect the others, right? Because you're not separate. So then it becomes, what do you need?
Right.
So yeah, you can find out about these great herbs that are used for cramping or used for PMS, but you continue reading, and this is where people get all confused and they get frustrated. They're like, I don't really know. I tried this and then it got worse. And it's like, because it wasn't for you. Dr. Google is not going to be able to analyze your period or like with you. And so like, it's like, no, this is why there's people that go to school for this. We studied this for years, and it's so that we can try to help guide you in this. Right.
Yeah.
And so it's how I like to use them is, we're using these to help get you over the hump. So you're getting that short-term relief, but we want long-term health and wellness, right? Yeah. So it took a while. We don't know exactly how long, but it took a while for you to get to this point that now you're seeking help. So now realize that this is a process. This menstrual cycle is supposed to happen like every month until you go into menopause. So we're looking at, I want you to start learning and thinking of your cycle as this is going to happen every month. Yeah. But my experience can be so much better if I start to tune into it and see what I need.
Yeah.
It's your monthly checkup.
Yeah.
And so now my monthly checkup is telling me this. Okay, maybe I do need to take dairy out
Yeah.
because causing my period to do this. Or like maybe I'll add in this herb for right now until my body can get to the point that it can sustain and do itself. Like if the hormonal pathways are going to start to feel supported, and then they're going to start to connect on their own, where you should not have to rely on them. But like to just have like that guidance, and to really just see, like, you really are going to have to pay attention to yourself. This
Yeah.
isn't, it's like, you got to be engaged,
Yeah.
engaged and active in it. And this is where I think a lot of women have lost their power,
Yeah.
because you're told a lot.
Yeah.
Like, you're told, yeah, just go ahead and sit over there and go do that.
Yeah.
Or like we were just talking about, getting into this masculine construct of how to operate a business.
Right.
And so it's a lot of that, like, no, you have the power within yourself
Mm-hmm.
already.
Yeah.
So
Here's how you
let's
use it.
totally use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So another thing
But
that you work with your clients on is what you call this downfall of pushing yourself outside your natural phase state. What is
yes.
that, and how do we avoid doing that? Because we do live in this world of go, 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 get it done, get it done, get it done. So how do we kind of rein ourselves in and say, well, wait a minute, that's really outside of what's happening with me this week?
First, give yourself grace
Yes.
and permission to be who you are and where you're at. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we think that where we're at, like right now, like I'm talking to you right now, Marissa, and I'm like, I'm just feeling it. I'm gonna feel this every day for 3 weeks, and it's like, no.
That's not the way it works.
No. And it's not to be like a Debbie Downer or anything. It's more of a, I'm really just acknowledging. Like right now, I'm feeling like really cool and excited. I'm like, I scheduled this. I'm like, sweet, I should be ovulating around this time. Like, and so I knew this was gonna happen and how I was gonna feel. I
Yeah.
knew I'd want to like put on makeup for this and everything else, right? So like, it's working with it. So yeah, I have another interview scheduled tomorrow
Right.
because I knew I'd be ovulating around this time.
Right.
And so like, it's going to be a lot easier, especially for me. I'm an ambivert, but I'm a little bit more introverted.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do need some time for me to like recuperate in between like patients and just interviews, calls, and stuff like that. So I already need that. But the need and the length of time that I need for it is shortened when it's around ovulation,
Right.
because during that time, I'm just going to be naturally on a high.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but if I force myself to do back to back, like calls and patients and stuff like later on in my cycle, or better yet, right when it's starting, I am
Yeah.
dragging. And then my frustration before I became aware, I'm like, oh, okay. So why don't I only just schedule a few? And
Right.
it's not end all be all.
Right.
Like, oh my gosh, so for these days, I'll just do 2 people or 3
Yeah.
people.
Right.
Because guess what? It's going to turn, it's going to have its upswing. And then I could just bang out like 7 to 10 people like
Right.
on another day. So
Right.
it's that grace. And then it's just that knowing that it's all going to be like an up and a down.
Yeah.
And so then that way you, like that downfall, the major downfall is that burnout. It's
Yeah.
the major diseases from the continuous pushing, that can high stress, the high cortisol, like the high cortisol levels and adrenaline all affect our blood sugar.
Yeah.
That affects, like, now we're setting ourselves up as, are we pre-diabetic? Are we getting diabetic? Like PCOS is so common, and that is tied to insulin resistance and diabetes. And so, and now you're like really inflamed. So now what else is it that we're,
Right.
kind of calling in? So it's that state of like, of just really giving yourself grace and understanding where you are, and to know that there's going to be light and dark, there's
Yeah.
up and down,
Yeah.
and it's okay. It's totally okay. And the perk of it is just knowing when that's going to happen and planning accordingly.
And that makes so much sense. And I love that your first statement was give yourself grace, because sometimes we are too hard on ourselves, as we're going through this natural process anyway. And, I'm probably the world's worst, right? Cursing it, darn, why do I have to do this? So I know we're going to dive much deeper in the next interview about this idea of strategic planning of our business based on our period. But is there anything else we need to know right now before we get out of here?
Anything else? I want to just say, have an open uterus, open mind, like
Yes.
to all of this, because it is a shift. I know it's a shift for a lot of women, and especially if it was similar to mine and other stories I've heard, which was, here's a pad, here's a tampon, or here's birth control, and then pretty much like that's it. That's the end of a conversation.
That's all you get. Yeah.
Right. And so it's not until later on in life when unfortunate things might happen, such as fibroids or PCOS or infertility, anything like that, that would really get you to start to pay attention to yourself. So if anything, it's going to be new to a lot of people, but it's going to be so helpful. So to just kind of be open and aware, and just know that you're going to just bang out in your business, like totally rocking it, when you're just really in flow with yourself, because your business is going to be in flow with you. So as soon as you can get in flow with it, get in alignment with all of it, then it's just going to just ride out.
Nice. And that sounds so much better than being upset and cursing your monthly cycle every month.
Right.
Denisha, before we let you go, how can people reach out to you if they want to pick your brain a little bit more about how to get get aligned with their own monthly cycle, or access some of your resources, or perhaps even work with you? How can they reach out to you?
Yes, so I am on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, all at Fix My Period Now. And that's also the website, so fixmyperiodnow.com. That's where you'll find my lovely face. So I get the emails, DMs, and comments and all that jazz. So you're more than welcome to come join me there.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for all you've shared here today. Guys, click on the links below and take advantage of some of the resources that Denisha is sharing with you today. All those buttons are right below this video, so don't hesitate to click on those and access some of those materials. If you are one of those people who's really struggling with figuring out your cycle and aligning it with your business priorities, you definitely do not want to miss Denisha's advanced session, which is below this video as well. But in order to check that out, you're going to have to upgrade to the All Access Pass. If you have not yet done that, there's another link below that will take you directly to the page where you can grab your All Access Pass now. And not only are you going to get all of the live interviews that you're seeing right now this week during the live summit, but you're also going to get every single one of these much deeper dives that I take with every one of our speakers. And I guarantee you, you do not want to miss those. Denisha, thank you so much for being here. And thank you so much for all you have shared today. This has been amazing.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Okay, guys, we will see you in the All Access Pass. Bye, everyone.